Okay, good morning, Boker Tov. Welcome back to 10 Minutes of Meaning. Big thanks to our series sponsor, Shmuel and Esther Shayos, Lili Nishmas, his father Yaakov Yehuda and Gedalia, and the Schus of Refuah Shlema of her mother, Batsheva Bas Bluma Rivka. Sorry that our camera's not working today, so we're just doing audio, old school. I looked in the mirror this morning, and I can promise you're not missing anything, so don't worry. You just listen, and you're really getting the gist of it. We are learning Iggeres HaRamban, the Ramban's message, his letter to his son, but his message really to all of us. And his message about staying calm and tranquil and serene, not ever allowing ourselves to get angry, not by conquering anger, but by tisnaheg tamid, by conditioning ourselves to always speak benachas. L'chol adam v'chol eis, to everyone and everywhere. And if we always speak benachas, we'll never get angry. And if we never get angry, we'll be filled with humility. And if we're filled with humility, then we'll filled with awe. We'll see Hashem everywhere. So we've been discussing this midah of humility. Kasher tisnaheg b'midas ha'anava, when a person, the Ramban importantly pointed out, you don't become an anav, your tisnaheg is hitpa'el. You reflexively act like an anav. You don't have to be an anav. It's very hard to be an anav. But you have to act like an anav. Dress for the job you want, not the one that you have. So act like who you want to be, even if you're not there yet. So display humility, and you'll end up becoming humble. How do you display humility? Lehis boshesh mikol adam. So mikol adam, even a 3-year-old, even a 2-year-old, even a 10-year-old, lehis boshesh, feel a healthy sense of shame or humility or modesty. Feel your limitations, even within others, even those whom you're smarter or more athletic or more artistic than, older, more experienced than. Nevertheless, Kol Adam doesn't just say lehis boshesh when you stand before a Gadol b'Yisrael, when you stand before someone great, recoil with humility. Feel humility always at all times with everyone, and you'll become a humble person. Ulehis pached. The Ramban knew grammar. The Ramban was brilliant. He was a Kabbalist, huge Talmud Chacham, one of the Balei HaMasorah, a doctor. Everyone knows the Ramban was a doctor. The Ramban also was a physician, and he also knew grammar. He knew all the wisdoms and the sciences. Lehis pached, he again expresses in hitpa'el, which is reflexive, and that's not coincidental. Lehis pached mimenu, that a person should transform themselves to be lehis pached from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So even if you don't feel fear, you're not really tzittering and trembling, and you're not really afraid, but condition yourself, act afraid, realize as we spoke about Revolba's emuna b'chet, realize that the little things Hashem does care about. He needs us, He wants us, and He cares about. You'll say the minutiae, the details, He really cares, it really makes a difference. The answer is yes, He created a world in such a way that we know and believe to Him it makes a difference. And therefore, lehis pached mimenu u'min. So a person should not become, of course, debilitated. Don't become anxious over chet. There is a diagnosis called scrupulosity. There's OCD, which is a general form of anxiety. Scrupulosity is OCD expressed in a religious context. If a person, perseverates over saying Shema, has a 1-hour Shmona Esrei, not because of Kavanah, because it's unhealthy. If a person is neurotic about minutiae of halacha, of expressing OCD in kashrus or in mikvah or something else, that's a condition called scrupulosity. It's a religious manifestation of OCD. That's not the lehis pached min hachet the Ramban's talking about. Person doesn't have to get to the point of chas v'shalom, struggling emotionally and mentally and spiritually. That's not what the Ramban's talking about. What the Ramban's talking about is in a healthy way, person should say to themselves, I live with a healthy fear of making mistakes because they matter. They matter. You don't want to make your spouse cry. You don't want to disappoint your children. You don't want to come up short to your parent or to your boss. We live with a healthy, very healthy sense of, I don't want to disappoint others. Kadosh Baruch Hu, we don't want to disappoint. Hashem has expectations. Hashem has asks. There are consequences to our choices and what we do. So we should live with a healthy dose of, tempted to really watch that thing. I really want to look at that. But I'm afraid of chet. If I'm not shomer my anayim, if I'm not careful and vigilant with what I look at, what I say, what goes in my mouth, out of my mouth, how I behave, how I report my taxes, how I interact, I'm going to disappoint HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm going to come up short of my mission and purpose in life. And that leaves me lehis pached. So only when we live with that mindfulness, that vigilance, when we live with that sense of I'm in a relationship, I'm intertwined, I'm twinning with Hashem. We learned last night in Siddur Snippets. We say in Shir HaShirim, Tamasi. Kadosh Baruch Hu is Tamasi. He is my whole. He is my complete. But the Medrash Shir HaShirim says not Tamasi, Tu'umasi. Tu'umasi means Hashem says to us, let's be twins. Let's intertwine our lives and our destiny. Let's live together so that throughout the day, you're talking to me, you're leaning on me, you're experiencing life with me. Hashem says to us, Imo anochi b'tzara. I'm with you in the hard times and the sad times. I'm celebrating with you in the joyous times. Not tamasi to umasi. We're twins with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Our destinies and our lives are intertwined. And when they're intertwined, just like lahavdil with your spouse, with your children, if your spouse is so upset, disappointed in you, Khalila, they cry, it would break your heart. It's hypothetical. Nobody here has ever made their spouse cry. It crushes you. It breaks your heart. How could you disappoint and hurt? The thought that you hurt someone that you love, for love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the thought that we hurt him, disappoint him, come up short with him. Az tishra alav ruach hashchina. You want to feel his presence? You want to feel his love? You want to feel his affection? You want to feel he's intertwined with you? You're twinned together to umasi. So it's by living a life that we're lehispached mimenu uminachet. V'ziv kvoda v'chaya olam haba. And that's how we get to this life of chaya olam haba. As tishra alav ruach hashchina, we'll feel it. And then the Ramban continues, V'yata b'nei. It's just not my day. So far, Eyal. It's okay. It's all good. It's going to be all good. 44-degree ice bath at 6 a.m. It's an amazing day. It's an amazing day. We already conquered the day. V'yata b'nei. V'yata b'nei. Da ure'ei. We left off last week. V'yata b'nei. Why does the Ramban start again b'nei? He already began the whole letter to his son by saying, Shema b'ni, quoting a pasuk. Shema b'ni musar avicha. Listen, my son. Now he returns to Ata b'ni. So the Mashgiach, Rav Dan Segel, in his commentary in Iggeres HaRamban says, you know why the Ramban returns to it? Because when you have a message for someone and you want them to really be open to it, to hear it, you have to keep coming to, you're my son, brother, we're close. I'm not coming as an outsider, hypercritical. I'm not coming to condemn you. I'm not coming to reject you. I'm not coming as an outsider to you. So the Ramban comes back to, again, a term of affection. V'yata b'ni. Come here, son. Come in my arm. Come sit in my lap. Come sit next to me. I'm coming to encourage you, to love you, to inspire you, to empower you. I'm not coming to criticize you or catch you or knock you down or feel better than you. So the Ramban keeps coming back. Shema b'ni musar avicha. First he starts with the pasuk. Listen, son. And now in the middle of the letter he comes, V'yata, and now b'ni. My son, my holy son, my precious son, my son, come. I have a message for you. It's coming from love. When Yaakov comes to the well, and the shepherds, it's the middle of the day, the sun is still high in the sky, and he says, hey clowns, what are you doing? Your boss is paying you to work a whole day. It's the middle of the day. You're sitting and sipping slushies, eating Haimisha pastries. What are you doing? It's the middle of the day. So they say, oh, Taka, you're right. We'll go back to work. Thank you so much. You can't help but wonder, why don't they punch him in the face? Why don't they kick him in the shins? Why don't they say, get lost? Who are you? You show up and the first thing you say is criticism? Go look at the pasuk. What does Yaakov say? Achi. Rav Hirsch points out, others point out, he walks up and he says, hey brothers, hey my brother, where are you from? What's your name? Did you see the football game on Sunday? What do you think of the stock market? What's your opinion about how the election turned out? I love your shirt. Where'd you get those Lululemons? Oh, by the way, you probably should go back to work because it's the middle of the day. It's not exactly right. When you start out with achi, hey brother, my brother, what's going on, my brother? So now the person's open to hearing it. Too often we have a message for people and we're not coming as brother. We're not coming as v'yata b'ni, my son. Come son, I love you, I have a message for you. If it comes as an outsider, harsh, critical, condemning, then a person pushes, they're not interested, they push it away. So what's the message he continues with to his son? V'yata b'ni. Come son, da ure'ei, know and see, a person who's arrogant, who feels superior to others, is rebelling against Hashem. What? What does one thing have to do with the other? If I come to shul and I shackle and I daven, I have a long Shemona Esrei, and I'm careful and I'm vigilant in all my observance of Torah mitzvos. So the fact that I'm also arrogant and condescending to others, what does it have to do with my relationship with Hashem? How is it morid b'malchus shamayim? How is it a form of rebellion against Hashem to have a shtickle arrogance, to trash talk on the basketball court a little bit, to feel a little bit better? What does one thing have to do with the other? And why is it da ura yediyah, da ura, know and see? Either just know that if you're arrogant, you're rebelling against Hashem, or see if you are. Why both? Da ura, mitzvah Hashem will pick up. Hopefully the camera will be working. Hopefully the streaming will be working. It's all up to Hashem. It wasn't meant to be today, and we were meant to have a delivery in the middle. It's all up to Hashem. Besoros Tovos should be a day that we hear good news. We've had a string of good news. We should continue. We should have good news. Good news.